Hello friends, and welcome to the live stream. It's good to have you here. Can everyone hear me okay? How's the music? Let me know about the levels. I'm still experimenting with new ways of doing the music and so on. Hello everyone. It's nice to be here. Hey, hello. Why don't I just turn the music down just a little. You should still be able to hear it, but also hear me. Awesome. I mean, now the chat's just going wild, so I don't really have any. Just keep checking in with it. Keep checking in with the music. Welcome. I can see you in the chat. I can see you all. It's great to have you here. Welcome. Double welcome to you if this is your first time joining us for the stream. Extra special welcome to you. I'm going to turn the music down just for my own self. And hey, we've had a first super chat from Benjamin Smith of the night. Benjamin Smith, where's my special thing? I will say thank you to you. So you've just reminded me to tell everyone that if this is your first time on the stream, let me welcome you along and say that if there are only super chats throughout the course of the night, I will always do my best to shout them out. Thanks. We like to do the streams in a very chill way. We like to have nice music. We like to have coloured lights. We like to have candles. We like to keep the chat a friendly place. And we'll go over the feedback from the last video and the comments and some of the fan art and interactions and so on from it. And I'll talk about what my notes to self were. It is painfully hot in London. It is so warm. So I'm going to put this fan on and you can just tell me if you can hear it and if it's distracting. You can probably hear that, right? Okay, I will probably I'll turn it down because I mean it is very, very warm. All right. So we also like to start with a candle just to make it even warmer in here. Somebody says close your curtains so we can see your lighting. My curtains are closed. They are just rubbish. Thank you for your super chat, Courtney. So here we go. Let me just make sure I can see. Same matches that the arsonist was using. Nice. Candle time. I picked a bad way to start the stream in summer. It's so warm in London. I hate it. As previously discussed, I like the cold. Yeah. Well, it's wonderful to have you all here. I don't know what the music's doing. Well, I think it'll get onto it. But yeah. Welcome along. It's fantastic to have you here. Lou Smith says, "Hey Ollie, love your videos. How hot is it here? Too damn hot. Grab yourself a cold beverage," says Jack Wood. Maybe I will later on. That'd be good. Ooh, incense instead of candles, says Liz Mednick. That's a good call. For next time, I should get some incense. How hot is it? It is apparently 19 degrees. God damn it. That's 7 degrees more than the maximum acceptable temperature. I hate it. So we'll get on to the last video. So the last video I did was called Ben Shapiro, an abortion. Or was it abortion? It was abortion of Ben Shapiro. It was a lot. Thank you, Leah Malia says, "Hello, sweet boy. Have you had a good day?" I've had a day. And Henry Silver says, "How would you describe your political worldview?" Henry, I'd describe it very carefully and in private. And you've actually reminded me of something, which is that if you are going to super chat me, then probably best to ask simple questions, because if you're asking like, what is your opinion on like the 9th page of Gramsci's text about this, I'm not gonna have time, because they go past so fast. But thank you to Junk for your super chat. And yes, I did get that doodle, don't worry, we're going to see it later on. And Vala says go and buy some proper blackout curtains. And Rachel Rucole enjoyed the video as well. So thank you to all the people super chatting. Okay. The last video, Abortion of Ben Shapiro, I had some fun making it. It was really good. There were some good comments, and I have my notes to self as well. I have like a big Google Doc of all the things that I would have done differently, and like the kind of the feedback that I give myself. Usually I have 3 criteria for when I'm happy with the video. Did I make it from a place of compassion? For this one, I think yes, I did. I think I tried, well, as compassionate as I possibly could be given the scenario. Did I make it from curiosity, not ambition? Yes, I think I did. And is it uniquely my creative voice? And I think yes, this one definitely is. So I'm pretty happy. Scaledro Man, how did you survive that one day when it was 34 degrees outside? Because I survived by staying indoors for most of it. I was also quite hungover that day, so that was doubly unpleasant. So I had some notes to self. I was happy with the video, but I did have some notes to self. And one of them was 2 unfortunate slips in language. When I was talking about, and I can probably, well, there won't be much to show you, but when I was talking about pregnant people and something like if it is acceptable to force a woman or a trans person with a woman to be pregnant, I accidentally said or to use her body instead of their body. It would have been grammatically correct to say their body, and a number of trans people brought me up on that and were like, hey, that was erroneous. And yes, it was, and I apologise for that. Again, that's just a slip of the tongue. It was like a duff take. I shouldn't have used that take, so I'm sorry about that. And I also made a mistake later on. I said gender conforming surgeries, not gender confirming surgeries, which, as you can hear in my natural accent, confirming is quite close. And I should have again, just didn't pick it up. Should have come back and done another take. So I apologise for that. 2 very unfortunate slips in language, and unfortunate that they were thematically linked. Anima Visionary, thank you for your super chat. Says, can you say something nice about yourself that you think people should know? Kind of drawing a blank. I give good hugs, apparently, and I'm a good cook. I like to cook. Joseph Mavera says, do you read any fiction? Yes, I was reading some today. I read the last few pages of Mary Shelley's The Last Man, which I go back to every now and again. I had another little note to myself, which was I was like, congratulations, well done, Ollie, because I got some. I mentioned it on the last stream 2 days before the filming. I got some like really bad news that was like just messed me up. So I was worried that it was going to affect how I came across on camera, and it didn't. I'm watching it back. I was like, oh, the acting and the presenting is still really good. I had some like acting notes. But they're kind of just for me. So yeah, I was pleased. I'm like, well done, Ollie, for getting through it. Because on set, I was just like, ugh. So yeah, why don't we get into the comments that I had, and I can in fact show you them. Although OBS is in a bit of a funny mood, so it may sort of glitch out slightly. This one was interesting. I quite liked it. It was somebody asked a Ben Shapiro fan in the comments section, why do you like Ben Shapiro? And they said they like him because he goes back and he corrects his mistakes, which is interesting. I thought that was quite cool because obviously, like, you know, the BBC News at 10 doesn't do that. So I was quite intrigued by that, because that's also something that I kind of deliberately do on this show and try deliberately to do. Michael Wright says, chance of video and disability or a Dracula costume. So again, the answer to will you do a video on X is always maybe. It never changes. It's always the answer is maybe. I never know. And Dracula costume, again, who knows? Maybe. So yeah, I thought this was interesting. This was like a cool reason to like somebody. If you like Ben Shapiro because he goes back and he corrects himself, then that's quite cool. I just quite liked it. What else did we have? Oh yeah, so Kevin Gallagher and quite a few people asked. So I mentioned in the video that I witnessed a double lung transplant on a 16-year-old girl, and people wanted to know how the hell did you manage that? When I was 17, I thought maybe I wanted to be a doctor, and I went and did some medical work experience, and they sent me and like 20 guys from my school, 20 girls in my school and guys to go into a hospital, and we all got assigned different things. A lot of people got assigned to like admin roles or like nursing or whatever, but I got the jackpot. They sent me to the cardiothoracic surgery ward, and I saw live surgery. Like double lung transplant wasn't even the most graphic operation that I saw. I saw open heart surgery on a guy, and that was absolutely wild. So yeah, that was really, really cool. I'm just gonna do some OBS magic here. I'm 26 now, for those who are asking. There you go. You should be able to hear the music now as I'm up here in the corner. But yes, I saw a lot of live surgery, and it was weird. It was kind of weird. Surgeon banter is great. I won't go into it because I know some people have things about hearing surgery, but no, what people are saying in the chat that it was scary. Not really. It wasn't scary so much. Just odd. It's very odd. I mean, my family are doctors. My dad was a surgeon before he retired, and I used, when I was a kid, he'd come home and I'd say, "What did you do today, Dad?" And he'd say, "Oh, today, I cut open a lady's neck and I did this," and he'd tell me about it. And so I have no, like, blood and gore. I mean, I was watching footage on YouTube of a sternotomy. That's what they call opening up the sternum. I watched it on YouTube to make sure I remembered it properly for the video, and yeah, it was it doesn't bother me. I'm used to it. So yes, I am 26. No one ever believes me. It's the beard. But yes, I don't have a problem with kind of surgery and gore and stuff like that. Although I do with pain. If a horror movie shows somebody in pain, I'm like, ooh, but because there's no pain in surgery, it's just like, no, blah. It's like, so I was in a place to talk about like the weird beauty of it and how it can be interesting. So yeah, it's kind of cool. So let me get rid of that and that. I can't get rid of that. Oh, this one was interesting. So this person, Docs, brought up the question of like, what are human rights? Hi, Mia. Brought up the question of what are human rights. I wish I'd had time to touch on that a little bit more. Ben Shapiro doesn't really go into what human rights are, and it is a fascinating area of philosophy, but I thought the video was going to be long enough without going into like the Hofeldian analysis of human rights and all of that stuff. But it was a good point to pick up on, Docs. Like, we didn't discuss like what are human rights and where do they come from, which again is an interesting video. Stephen Clear, what do you say to critics who say the analogy in the video breaks down because pregnancy is a foreseeable consequence of having sex, unlike getting influenced by the arsonist or kidnapped by the arsonist? I'm really glad you brought that up. I was going to talk about it anyway, but thank you for your super chat. Quite a few people brought this up. What about if you're responsible for a pregnant person is responsible for being pregnant, you're avoiding moral responsibility, and I'm absolutely banging my head against the wall that so many people brought this up because I actually addressed it in the video. Hi to things. I addressed it in the video. There's that bit where Tom's like, I'm not responsible for him getting sick, and the arsonist is like, why does that matter? Why should it matter? Because, and unfortunately the fact that so many people brought it up suggests either that a lot of people weren't listening, or I didn't explain it clearly enough, which possible note to self that I could have gone over that. So here's the deal. If the life at stake is what matters, then that does not change whether Tom Gently is responsible for that life being in danger or not. If what we're talking about is that the human life, and the human life has value, and that value outweighs bodily autonomy, that doesn't change whether they're responsible for it or not. Like, why is somebody's life worth more or worth less? No, surely their life is worth something to them. So there's a whole very weird and I think not working problematic assumption of like why a life is valuable at all. If we say that if they're not responsible for it, then it's fine. And if the discussion, and a few people in the comments were sounding off and saying, well, it's really about people facing the consequences of their actions. If you choose to have sex, then you're kind of... Some people even said, if you choose to have sex, you know that having sex can cause pregnancy, and therefore you are responsible for it. And it's like, we do not apply that logic anywhere else. So if you cross a road and get hit by a car, no one goes, well, you knew the risks. Like, you consented to crossing the road, and you know that crossing roads can lead to big... No one ever says that. So first of all, I don't think that works. And secondly, that is, I think, stretching to the point of distortion what pro-life people are actually saying. If you listen to Ben Shapiro, he doesn't talk about moral responsibility and people should be responsible for their actions, because that's an argument we could apply in many, many other areas. In fact, Ben explicitly, I found multiple recorded instances of him saying that even in cases of rape and incest, abortion shouldn't be allowed. So he's not talking about moral responsibility. He is very explicitly making the argument that a human life, which he thinks a fetus is, outweighs bodily autonomy. Like, that is the argument, and that doesn't change whether you're responsible for it or not. And if you want to have a talk about moral responsibility and people should face the consequences of their actions, then okay, we could do that. But it seems like there are a lot of other areas we could do that in which they don't. So we could talk about Ben Shapiro radicalizing young men to the right wing. That's an area where you might want to face up to his responsibility for that. I think the moral responsibility argument is an interesting one, but if you look at the actual text of what pro-life people are saying and the images they use and the rhetoric they use, they are talking about human life. And I think it is distorting what they're saying charitably. Like, you're interpreting them too generously to say that they're making an argument for moral responsibility. And if they want to make that argument, cool, let's get into it. But let's not give them the slack and pretend. Good God, good evening, Benjamin Morrison, and thank you for the Benjamins. You're exceedingly generous. And thank you to Stephen Clear for your super chat as well. And to David Manor, who says, how do you feel about posadism? I feel nothing about it. I have never read anything about it. Thank you for expanding. I've been expanding all this time. I've been expanding. I'm going to drink some protein shake and expand some more. Oh my god, that tastes gross. I tell you what, this red is cool, but it's a little aggressive. Why don't we... Okay, I quite like the pink for now. That's cool. I quite like that. So yes, that is the response I have to that. Thank you for bringing it up. What else did I have? Oh yeah, here's a cool... Sorry, I think that's my flatmate smashing the doors in the background. Here's a cool one. I got quite a few comments actually, and quite a few emails from pro-life, or people who support state-forced pregnancy, I should say, who said this changed my mind. And I also got quite a lot of emails from people who say, oh, like, I'm pro-choice, but like I like still have a lot of reservations about it, but and this video has helped me sort of become more pro-choice. So that was really, really cool. I thought with the theatre and so on, is this really going to convince anybody? But apparently it did. I got a lot of comments like this, and also very interestingly, this one said the idea that a fetus is a human with rights feels very intuitive. And so I think that music just might have jumped up just a little there, which I found very interesting because I could not find anything less intuitive than the idea that a fetus is a person. So that was, I suppose, on a related note, I got quite a few people saying, why... Oh, maybe I can find an example here. Oh yeah, Marshanta it was. So Marshanta provided an interesting example of something that happens a lot, and that I'm kind of at a loss as to how to deal with. People will often latch on to little things in the video that aren't really relevant to the overall point and say, this is the fatal flaw with what you're saying. So Marshanta says towards the end here that being pro-life and supporting the death penalty aren't, in their opinion, contradictory. So not only did I not say in the video that those two are contradictory, but it also wouldn't matter if I did. It's not relevant to the overall argument. So I'm a little confused as to why people think that that's relevant. It's odd. I guess there's something I think more fundamental than what I can teach, which is like how to parse an argument, like how to take an argument apart and understand what makes it work, like how to see what the relevant points are. And I'm at a loss as to how to teach people that, because I get a lot of people who apparently can't do that, and who will see that there is something wrong, or like interpret a joke and then think that makes the whole thing wrong. And it's like, no, I don't quite know how to teach you how to pick out the relevant bits. It's kind of reading comprehension, I suppose. Should make reading comprehension tube. People in the chat are saying, aren't they contradictory? It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter if they are. It's not relevant to the overall point of the video. I saw an interesting example of a similar sort of thing recently in a Jim Sterling video. Because Jim, if you don't know Jim Sterling, thank God for him. He makes videos about video games and video game journalism, and he's often quite critical of the video game industry. And he included a clip in one of his most recent videos of an executive of EA, I think, in Scottish Parliament, who was asked the question, do you think loot boxes are ethical? And they responded, lots of people enjoy them, and lots of people use them. Now, I wonder if I can... Hang on a minute. I'll demonstrate the sort of thing I mean. Here we go. We're doing like some actual... We're doing real teaching hours here. While I write this out, thank you to Victor Kinzer for your super chat and my answer to what I think about theatrical approaches, that I enjoy it more, and I do think it works. But anyway, let's not get off the point. So are loot boxes ethical? That's the question. There's the question. And then the person said, lots of people use them. Lots of people enjoy them. Okay? So that was their response to the question, are loot boxes ethical? Now, if you actually literally write it out, you can see, like, clear as day, that it doesn't answer the question. That, like, these are, even if true, irrelevant. So, and I was baffled that the people asking the question didn't point that out and be like, can you answer the question, please? And it made me wonder, like, what if you could, like, hire a philosopher to stand in a parliament or in a boardroom or wherever, and just, like, be, okay, the speaker has said this, they were asked this, here is what they said. And all they're holding, not to claim that this doesn't work, but just to literally write it out so everyone can see the argument clear as day. And when you write it out like that, you see that they haven't answered the question. And I don't know how to teach that, because maybe I just did. Because I get people who will point out irrelevant things in my videos and be like, oh, you said this, and I'm like, even if I did say that, which I didn't, it doesn't matter. So what are you talking about? It's odd. It's very odd. I don't really. Yeah, I'm grateful to Marshanta for helping crystallize that thought in my mind, which is very odd. There are a few other unusual ones. Sorry, I'm in quite like aggressive mood tonight. Sorry, it's because the heat. I'm just a bit like. I don't mean to be. I'm sorry. We like this to be a chill stream. I'll try and calm down. Curiosity, not ambition. What else did we have? Oh, so this one was nice. Devin is Lord, the commenter, pointed out that quite a few Catholics would in fact be against both abortion and IVF, which is an interesting perspective, because it interferes with what they believe is a kind of natural life cycle, i.e. a life cycle ordained by God. And that's fair enough. What I tried to say as gently as possible in the video, without getting too sort of Richard Dawkinsy, is if that is the argument that you're making, then if you want other people to live by that, and then you need to prove that God exists. You need to prove that it does say that, and you need to explain why we should care. So that's my response. I await the Pope's DMs. DM me anytime, Pontiff. I know you're a big fan of the show. What else did we have? We had one from Saku Satola said Paul Giamatti would have been a perfect casting for Tom Gently, and I so agree. That would have been great. Although, I thought about, I thought for a while about, like, could I hire an actor? 'Cause obviously I know a lot of actors. Like, could I hire an actor to play somebody in a video once? Give a friend a bit of work and so on. And I thought maybe in the sort of long-term future I could do that, but it's actually it's not just a technical limitation that Tom Gently and the Arsonist have the same face. Like, there's a point to them having the same, which is that, like, their arguments, that their worldviews are actually, like, pretty, like, almost completely overlapping, and that everything the Arsonist says is, like, consistent with Tom's viewpoint. Is the whole point. They have the same face. So yeah, Paul Giamatti would have been an excellent Tom Gently, though. That would have been really, really good. So here was a cool one. Luna Corver made a couple. This like a really rich vein of philosophy. This comment. So they said that pregnancy is a natural function, which is sort of an appeal to sort of teleology and design. So they say, being hooked up to a violinist obviously isn't natural, whereas, getting pregnant is. I'm always wary of arguments to say that sort of thing, because, of course, just because we have evolved to do a particular thing doesn't tell us anything about whether we should or should not do it. We did not evolve ears to wear earrings. They still look great. So, weird one. They also, if you look closely, if you just look harder, they very subtly shifted points between these two paragraphs. Again, I get the whiteboard out, I'll show you again. They very, very, very subtly shifted points. Because they talk about, at the start they're talking about natural function, and then they start talking about what kinds of suffering is involved. And they say, Tom Gently's going to suffer much more than somebody who's pregnant. Which is a different argument. And again, let's assume that that's true. Let's assume that nobody who has ever been pregnant or ever will be pregnant will ever suffer as much as Tom Gently would on that table. I'll grant that for the sake of argument. I think it's ludicrous, but I'll grant it. If we are talking about how much suffering somebody has caused, and you say, well, Tom's going to suffer a lot more, and therefore it's okay for him to unplug, but not somebody who's pregnant, then you have actually already accepted the core of the pro-choice position, which is sometimes a pregnant person can suffer so much that an abortion is permissible, that their bodily autonomy outweighs whatever the value of the life is, whether it's maximum or minimum. You're just quibbling over where the line is and who gets to draw it. So this was a very interesting comment that I stared at for 20 minutes and was like, oh yeah, I Sherlocked it and was like, it's my mind palace. You're full of shit, right? That was what I did. And then a man came from off screen and told me the answer. But this comment was really interesting because it was wrong in multiple ways at the same time. I'm sorry, that sounded so harsh. I really appreciate you leaving a comment, Luna Corver. You're always welcome if you're watching. In a similar vein, we had one from Jason Ports, who said that if Tom is only required for 2 days, then he should have to stay. Whereas, if it's 9 months or whatever, then he should, thank you, leave me alone please for that super chat, then he should be allowed to unplug. Which again is interesting. He, you're just quibbling at that stage over who gets to draw the line. And I would say, well, the pregnant person gets to draw the line, because it's not really, I don't know, I'm not really comfortable with telling other people how much they are suffering and how much their suffering is worth. Perhaps that's just me. But yeah, interesting one. Here's another one which I thought was, again, on multiple levels, Did I take a picture of it or not? I don't think I did. Bollocks. Well, anyway, I got one comment from somebody who said that sorry, music just jumped in a little bit loud there. I got a comment from somebody who said that conception only refers to fertilized eggs that have in fact implanted. So IVF embryos and eggs that don't implant aren't alive. So when I said at the start in that kind of sexy bit with the cool music with the eggs and the mayonnaise, do you remember that bit? In fact, I'll be able to show it to you through the magic of OBS. I can show you that bit now, but first I will copy the music across so that you can in fact hear it as well. So this bit where I was talking about mayonnaise and so forth, wanking off a leak. When I was talking about that bit, I mentioned that what is it? Let me just move myself up. I mentioned that fertility clinics fertilize a lot of embryos that they then throw out, and I also mentioned that a lot of eggs don't implant in the wall of the uterus and are passed out even when they are fertilized. And so this person was saying, well, those don't count. And I'm like, well, this feels a little bit like special pleading. Why don't they count? Why don't those eggs count? But what this quite interestingly illustrated, what kind of it reminded me to bring up is that there is no moment of conception. Something a lot of people in the comments were sort of sounding off about was, from the moment of conception an embryo is this, and it's like, well, there is no moment of conception. What moment are you talking about? Are you talking about the moment when the sperm meets the egg? Are you talking about the moment where it tunnels in? Are you talking about the first division? Are you talking about when it implants in the wall of it? Like when? There is no moment, which I thought was interesting. Also, I found it very odd that some people mentioned, as Ben Shapiro does, like repeatedly hammered home the point that that a fetus has different DNA to the gestator. I'm like, well, so? Identical twins have the same DNA, but that's not really relevant to their moral rights. Like, we consider them to be different people, so I don't get it. Like, again, somebody hire me and Jim Sterling to write these things down and just be like, look at what you're saying. Just look at it, and just tell me what the hell you think you're talking about. I'm sorry I'm so harsh tonight. Too far gone now. Thank you for your super chat. Best way to organise me in any kind of live event is just to email me. Did I have any other notes to self? I really do think that Thompson's argument works better as drama. That's why I did it as a dramatic scene. I do think it works better as drama because it is so. There is a lot of like appeal to, not quite appeal to emotion in the kind of to fallacy, but in the sense that like it is. There's a lot about like, your moral intuition and like what you think is okay and where you balance it. So yeah, I thought it would make a good bit of drama. Because she writes very dramatically in the original paper, Thompson, which you can read for free. I linked it under the video, and it's good. It's quite short and very accessible. I recommend it, and it goes into more depth. But yeah, it's interesting. I think it does work better as drama. Did I have any notes to self on the acting? Yes, I think I did. So let me go to whereabouts on the old timeline. I'm about to show a picture of me holding a scalpel. If you're not okay with blades, then content warning. But so acting wise, I'm generally pretty pleased. I thought the acting for Tom was better than the arsonist. It was I kind of gave myself a take, like accent held up reasonably well, even under stress. There were a couple of really nice moments with the arsonist, like this moment with the tongue, where he kind of goes like that. I was totally unconscious, didn't realise I was doing that. Hamish McDonald says, please say AAA video games in Jim's voice. The AAA video game industry. I love it. So yeah, there were a couple of really nice unconscious moments with the arsonist, which I enjoyed. There were a couple of moments where he was just slightly too big for the frame. So I think we can probably, I might even be able to show you so yeah, this bit right here. So this moment here where the scalpel kind of goes and the eyebrows just a little bit too big, just a little bit too big for the frame. And that's me just not knowing what a frame to freeze on. Let's go here. That's just me like not knowing where the borders of the frame are, not quite having a good sense for it. So you can see the edge of the scalpel dips out of frame, which is just a little sloppy. Hi Nina. Nina Richards is in the chat. Nina did the music for this video. Yeah, sometimes I have quite expressive eyebrows. I have an extremely expressive face, which means I'm terrible at lying. If anybody ever asks me anything, I'm like, no. Junk, I don't mind if you go feral, go wild. It's hot enough to go feral out here. So yeah, sometimes acting just a little big for the frame. Draven says, I'm so glad we've confirmed the Philosophy Tube cinematic universe. Yeah, so somebody clever pointed out that in the Steve Bannon video where you first meet the arsonist, he references a family of 4 burned alive, a mother and father and 2 little girls. And somebody said that must be Tom's family, and that the abortion video, must be a prequel. And I hadn't even considered that, but I don't know. I reserve the right to make up the canon as and when I need it. Yeah. It was cool. I thought it was a cool idea. I tell you what, I'm gonna turn the other light on. There you go. Hey, that's a little more chill, isn't it? That's nice. Oh cool, I've just got a message from Harry. He's going to come and see my play. We'll talk about the play later on. But yeah, acting wise, pretty pleased with that. That was fun. It was like generally pretty good. And again, I'm happy that I managed to get through it, given the sort of state of my life offline. Hi Harry. I think Daniel Sullivan says, if you hadn't told us that scene was shot in a sex dungeon, I'd never have known. That room is terrifying. Yeah, so that room was really cool. I really enjoyed shooting there. It's kind of a medical playroom. I tried to find like a medical set, but I couldn't find anywhere that wasn't like 24 grand for the whole day. So I thought, well, where else is going to have like a medical themed room? Oh, I bet some of the BDSM studios near me have a medical playroom. So I literally just googled like BDSM studios near my house, and there was one that were like, yeah, we'll give you like 300 quid for the day. You can have the whole place to yourself for the whole day. I was like, amazing. So I did. Leela Whitney says, I'm watching the stream and your video from a bed in a cardiothoracic ward. Great video, but not the best distraction from hospital. Well, Leela, I wish you a speedy recovery. Oh my gosh. I hope it's a happy surgery. Congratulations if it is, and speedy recovery either way. Hey, Alice is here as well. Thank you to the whole the mod team for all of your hard work. Benjamin Hume says, if bodily autonomy takes absolute preference over the interests of a dependent vulnerable entity, where is the justification for non-essential consumption and use of animals for our pleasure? So again, if you ask big questions like that, they're probably unlikely to get satisfying answers. But I think somebody could probably say the two are not parallel because they're not, like connected. But again, I think Big Joel's here as well. Hi, Big Joel. The whole crew's here. Yay! But yeah, the rest of the sex dungeon is amazing. So I'll tell you a funny story actually. Originally there was gonna be a sponsor for the video. It was originally gonna be like, this video was sponsored by blah blah blah, and I actually recorded the ad read at the end in character as Tom Gently. You know how it just goes from I'll show you. You know how it goes from from here into just into the credits. Originally, it was going to cut to black, and then Tom was going to come back, and there was going to be a third bit of the Tom Gently Show, which was filmed and edited. And it was going to be this episode of the Tom Gently Show was sponsored by, and then the people who were actually sponsoring the video. I did the whole thing in character, and the video was rendered and uploaded, and I sent it to the sponsors to preview it, and they pulled out. They saw the video. And said, we don't want to do this anymore. And in fairness, they had just changed their internal policies whilst I was filming to like get away from more political content. So I just happened to get caught up in that, which was, oh, we don't want this music just yet. That's our ending music. So yeah, they pulled out. They refused to sponsor me, which was interesting. It was kind of funny, which is kind of fine with. But even funnier, I kind of suspected that they wouldn't like me doing the ad read as Tom, so I recorded a backup, like an alternate ending, which so I started off in the kitchen of the sex dungeon. And I was shirtless, and it was the last thing we filmed, so I still had like my Tom Gently makeup on, and I was shirtless. And I started off in the kitchen of the sex. I was like, "Hey, this is the alternate ending. You know, if you're watching this version, then the sponsors pulled out, and but if you're watching this version, the sponsors didn't like it, and I just had to do this on the fly." And as I'm walking along, I'm talking about, I was sponsored by these people, and they say this, and they do this, and as I walk out into the rest of the BDSM studio, and I'm just walking past increasingly hardcore BDSM stuff. There's like a flogging wheel and a St. Andrew's cross and a throne, and I'm just not referencing it. I'm just walking past, talking about the company that sponsored it. And then at the end, I'm like, well, it's been a long day of filming, and I'm going to unwind. So cheers, time for the credits, and that's it. And I didn't end up having to use either because the sponsors decided they didn't want to sponsor me in the end. So yeah, that was really, really funny. But I had a lot of fun filming that. Junk says, I'm asking for Cherry. Please do the dummy thick meme in Tom Gently's voice. All right, let me look at the text of that real quick. What is it? I don't know what the. Okay, give this a go. Colonel. No, what is it? Colonel, I'm trying to stick around, but I'm dummy thick, and the clap from my ass cheeks keeps alerting the guards. The clap from my ass cheeks keeps alerting the left. They're online. They're always criticizing me all the time from the clap from my ass cheeks because I'm so dummy thick, just alerting them all the time. They're always in my comment section, like on twitter.com, just always like being so uncivilized. I'm stopping that right now. I would show you the alternate endings, but obviously I don't want to give the sponsor, I don't want to give them. In fact, I think since I signed the contract, I actually cannot disclose who they are. I don't think I can do that. So sorry. But yeah, it was fun. It was very silly. What else? Oh yeah, there was one other really cool note. I got a little bit of feedback from somebody on Curious Cat, who said, I thought this was a really good note and a good one to end on. But first, Alice Pope Terry says, please upload the alternate ending in the blooper reel. I don't think there's going to be a blooper reel for this one because there weren't any. Well, none of the bloopers were funny. They were all just me going, oh shit, that's not the line, or yeah, we'll go back and we'll do that again, or there weren't really any bloopers per se from this episode. Sorry. Somebody said, could you just bleep it when you say the company's name? Not really, because then I'd say, as I'm talking about them, you'd know who they were. So it'd be like, they do this, and the whole thing would just be a bleep. I can look into it, but I kind of really don't have time, really, to do that, and I don't think it would really work. I'm already filming the next video tomorrow, so I don't really have a whole lot of time. Yeah. So I did get one other little cool bit of feedback on Curious Cat. Oh my god, that's so gross. So someone said, if a cis man who is pro forced state pregnancy bites the bullet and just says, yeah, Tom has to stay there the rest of his life. There's not really any consequences to them saying that. It's not like we can go, well, someday, the arsonist is going to come for you. It's like, well, that's not going to happen. So there's not really any consequences to them saying, yeah, Tom has to stay there, whatever. Whereas the best cautionary tale, stuff like A Christmas Carol, a Christmas Carol like Scrooge is a bit of a cautionary tale, has a real threat. Like, yes, the ghost of Christmas future isn't real, but like, if you are a rich old miser, you might die unmourned and leave a life full of pain. So don't be like that. So I guess, yeah, this is a kind of a sort of a cautionary tale without a sort of possibility of it happening. So that's an interesting point. I thought it was a good point, well made. But yeah, I think those are all of my notes to self. I'm just really glad I got through that video. Yeah, as I say, I got some just life-shattering news 2 days before it, and was really worried. Like, in the nature of being a YouTuber is that like I can be quite flexible with my time, but it's like being a Time Lord. Some things you can change, but some things have to happen. And I would have liked to not do that. I would have liked to not film this video and just like stay in my bed all the time and be sad, but I can't do that. I had already booked the studio and the crew, so I was like, fuck it, I just gotta go for it, and it turned out really well. And I got the play, so yeah. I'm glad it turned out well. Some people say, some people have said it was my best. I'm not sure. I still think the sex work one is my best so far. But I think it's up there. It's pretty cool. I'm enjoying it. Jasmine Naylor says, can't wait to see you act. I'm drawing some art for you. Well, awesome. This reminds me, actually. So you might know already I'm in this play at the moment, Much Ado About Nothing. We've had two performances already. Thank you, Stephen Clear, for that super chat. What was I saying? Oh yeah, I was in a play. I'm in a play at the moment, and quite a few people turned out to see the first two performances. So the next performance is on the 6th. Quite a few people turned out to see the first two, and I wanted to say thank you to everyone who did. It really means a lot that you always turn out. Like, I was saying to one of the actors afterwards, someone was like, "Do your fans often come and see you and stuff?" I'm like, "Yeah, they've like pretty much everything I've done as a professional actor. That somebody always turns out to come and see it from the show." So I wanted to say thank you to all the people who turned out to see me play Claudio, and who are still going to. There's still like a dozen performances left. The next one's in London on the 6th, and if you follow me on Twitter, you'll know already. Just scroll back through my Twitter on Ollie Thorne. Somebody says, is there time after a play for a quick hello? It depends what day you come and what else is going on. Junk, do the birds work for the bourgeoisie? The birds work for themselves. They're free. They're born free. So yeah, thank you to all the people who came to see the play, and are still coming to see the play. It means a huge amount to me that you turn out, actually. I really enjoyed chatting to people after the show. Quite a few people came up to me. One guy came from California with his mum, who just happened to be in the UK, and was just like, let's come and see you. So thank you to everyone who turned out to see that. Especially this week, it meant a lot. It was really good. So I think why don't we have a bit of fun, and why don't we look at some of the fan art, because there was some incredible fan art. Lou Smith, thank you for your super chat. There was some amazing fan art off the back of this video, so let's take a look at it now. And some amazing cosplay. There's somebody who cosplays me on TikTok. All the characters. And it's great. I love it. It's really, really fun. So there's been some great cosplay and some great fan art. Let's get into it. This one from Miyugi-chan is astonishing. Like, I love that. Thank you, Basher of Noggins, who says your transphobia video was my favourite. And and it was a huge part of my trans awakening. I'm really glad it could help with that. Like, yeah, I'm quite proud of that one as well. But yeah, this from Miyuki-chan is fantastic. I love it. Like, I love the ears. I love the teeth. It's brilliant. It's so good. Yeah, well done, Miyuki-chan. The little detail of the gold ring, which I actually wasn't wearing in the last video because I accidentally left it at home. But well done for remembering. It's brilliant. I love it. I also I got this one from Capped Blue 22, which is just great. It's quite Harry Potter illustration vibes. I quite like it. The hair is a lot more ragged and less neat than the arsonist usually is, and the beard is a bit more unkempt. But the way they've really put the highlight on that scalpel is really amazing, and they've got the green of the face. I really, really like that. It's really, really good. Yeah, it's fantastic. Some people are so talented. I wish I could draw. I had to do some drawing today for work to like draw some designs for some stuff, and I was just rubbish at it. It's just really bad. This from A Mercurial, which somebody posted on the Philosophy Tube subreddit, is just so I love the highlight on the eyelids is really, really nice, and the glow around the match, and the way the arsonist. I always imagine the arsonists having like very well manicured fingernails, yeah, which I really, really like, and the highlight just here is just, yeah, it's very well done. Yeah, it's really, really good. I think that's fantastic. And this one just came in a few hours ago from Scalegay on Twitter, which I really like. I love the kind of I love the sort of the orange highlights on the shoulder, and the facial expression's really, really nice there. It was really, really fun. Caitlin Kunkel says, I almost choked to death laughing at your description of the alternate sponsor scene. Thank you, I'm glad. And Joshua says, when did you decide to bring back the arsonist? I decided on Tom Gently first. Originally it was just going to be the Tom Gently show. I was just going to have that. And then I was like, well, what if Tom ended up hooked up to the violinist? And I was like, oh, who would be a good villain? And originally it was going to be hosted by Satan again, because it was going to have like a Devil Went Down to Georgia theme, because that's a song about like violinists. And I actually even went so far as to get Nina to create a violin synth cover of The Devil Went Down to Georgia, and then unfortunately the Devil Went Down to Georgia stuff kind of got dropped for various reasons, or got white painted, as we sort of say in art. And I ended up cutting that because it got it also got picked up by the copyright scanners. Yeah, there was originally going to be Devil Went Down to Georgia theme, and it was going to be presented by Satan, as with the nails and everything, with the violinist. And I was like, maybe not. And then I decided, oh, what if Tom got hooked up to a violinist? Wouldn't that be wild? Could I film that? And then I was like, well, who would do it? And they were like, well, what if the arsonist came back from the Steve Bannon video and was part of it? And then after that, I had already written like the opening scene of the Tom Gently show, and I was like, what if he goes to a caller, and the caller is the arsonist? Because I was imagining people like hearing the voice and losing their shit, because they're like, oh god, he's back. Because I know a lot of people, for some reason, really, really like the arsonist. I don't know why. A lot of people sexualize him as well, when I actually originally created him as a character that I knew would be sexualized at the start of the Steve Bannon video, and then you get the reveal that he's like a monster, and he only gets more monstrous in this. Like, my sort of rule of thumb for writing the arsonist is that the truth of what he says, whatever the truth is always more horrific than we think. When anything innocuous is always something like horrible. And as I was writing it, I was like, he's great for dog whistles, and this is again why I think it works good as drama. He's a character that's really good for dog whistles, because he talks about like nothing should replace family. We don't want replacement. There's a lot of that, like we can hold on to the family. There's a lot of like hints of things, and in the original video when he's like the sheer number of shekels changing hands, it's just like, ooh, there's just something like, oh, like very civilized but like evil underneath. So yeah, I originally created him for that, and he's really good for dog whistling. And I knew that there was some. So as I was writing the script, there were some things that were, if they had gone in the main studio bits, would have been diversions or would have distracted. I was like, okay, what if I just sort of make a veiled reference to that as the arsonist? So it was going to be a bit about like abortion being bound up with replacement rates and birth rates, and people like far right are very concerned. And I was like, what if I just take that out, but just give that line to the arsonist? Just let him have that, so that the people who know will be like, whoa. But yeah, it's weird that people sexualize him, because in my mind he's an absolute monster. Oh, Alice has to go. Good night, Alice. Do message me about that thing that I messaged you about yesterday. Don't. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, because for real, yeah. Morgan Searle says, please release that awesome synth cover of The Devil Went Down to Georgia. I don't think I can, because it got hit by the copyright scanners. So I will just hang on to it and maybe use it in a future video. And until then, I'm just going to have it. But yeah, arsonist, I like using him as a... Thank you, Alice. Says, well done on this episode. It took guts and you really pulled it off. You wait till you see the next one. We'll talk about that in a bit. So it's interesting that people sexualize him when he's like a monster. He's like a multiple murderer. I don't have his whole backstory written. I don't know what's true, what he says and doesn't, because at a certain point the character writes itself. I was like, ooh, what if he had like a personal? I was like, what's his personal stake in the scene? I was like, oh, maybe he had like somebody who was pregnant and then like got an abortion, and that's why he doesn't. But again, like, I don't know how much of what he says about himself is true. I have no clue. I reserve the right to change my mind about a canon later. All law, no meaning. Junk says, are you feral? I feel like you're using that word in a way that I don't know what that means. But yes. But Loki, people are saying, okay, look at the Loki fandom, but Loki, he does murder a lot. Okay, yeah, fair enough. But he's also redeemed. Whereas I do not plan to write an arsonist redemption thing, because he's a fascist. Like, that's just the whole point, is his character is a fascist. He's a very, very civilized, like, absolute monster. Yeah. We'll see. Make the backstory inconsistent like the Joker, says Devin Byler. Maybe, Batman will ask and they'll turn out to be 3 or something. Like, it'll be 3 arsonists. But yeah. It's interesting. It's fun. The person who cosplays me even cosplayed the arsonist's wife, as if he had a wife, as if it was true. I have no idea. Anyway, we had one last bit of fan art from Armin Armout 11, which I quite liked. Hand drawn. It was great. I enjoyed it a lot. Ellen from No One says, thanks so much for the abortion video. Super accessible way of putting the ideas across. Thank you for your regular shout-outs about Northern Ireland. Oh, hell yeah, big time. Northern Ireland's beautiful. I was there a while ago. It's really, really good. I enjoy it. So yeah, I tell you what. We've got some mail from the PO Box to open. So I'm gonna go and quickly fill up my water, and then why don't we open some mail, and then we can talk about the next video, which I'm filming tomorrow. Yikes. Yeah. So. B R B. Yeah. Be back in 2 minutes. Skadoosh. Alright. We're back. Well, so, what are we gonna do? Oh yeah. We're gonna open some letters. People are saying I have legs. Yeah, I have legs. Yeah, someone in the chat explained the feral thing. Let's open some letters. So we have a few packages and letters to the PO Box. Again, I don't know what's in them, so if they're weird or sad or horny, we're all just gonna have to learn to deal. Let's open one up. This one's from chair making a noise. Whoops. Hang on a second. Okay. Let's open this one from Digenis in Greece. Digenis? I'm afraid I don't know how to pronounce it, but let's give it a go. I always have to be careful because sometimes people write their return addresses on these, so I don't want to show that on camera, you know. Let's have a go. Hello, Ollie. I really enjoy your videos. A thing that you made me realise is that philosophy is not just a theoretical thing that doesn't affect everyday life. I liked philosophy for a long time, but it was mostly presented to me as a thought exercise. I also learned from you about the existence of leftist YouTube, which I never thought existed. First video of yours was that I watched was the one about mental health and suicide. Maybe I won't read all of this out loud. Oh. I always loved astronomy since I was a kid, and I always wanted to go to space. It was a place of endless worlds, and I thought there'd be a better one than the one I lived. Thank you for sending me that, to Janice. I hope things get better. Thank you. My makeup's gonna run now. I hope things do better for you, my friend. Why don't we have another one? It's a nice bit of art. Oh, this is just illegible. It's got a great sketch on it though. Look at that. That's me. Ollie, I'm meant to be doing my coursework, listening to your live streams to pass the time while I draw. Realised I'd something you as a procrastination exercise, and something out your PO Box address, so I thought I'd write to you and colour my sketch. Apologies for how gaunt and old I made you look. Well, you sketch better than me, so thanks. But I love your work. I'm truly grateful for the smarts and the funnies and the inspiration. Shine on. My boyfriend works for the something in City Hall, so we'll come and see you as Claudio at the Scoop in July. Thanks again. I want to say Laura? Thank you, Laura. I look forward to seeing you in the audience at the Scoop. I just got a message from someone else who I think you all know who's going to come and see me at the Scoop, so thank you. That's a nice sketch, isn't it? That's a nice one. Thanks. Okay. Let's open another one. This one's from France. Yeah. The chat. Anyone else work for the something? So I'm not very good at reading people's handwriting sometimes. I can read my own, but other than that, it's quite difficult. This one's on graph paper. Oh wow, this is... You can read this on stream if you want. Hello, sweet boy. I hope you are well and that someone is hugging you lots. I'll spare you my sob story. You in the chat get a lot of emotionally intense stuff. We do, don't we? So I'll keep this light. Suffice to say, I'm a trans guy suffering the hell that is NHS gender services, and watching you, Nat, H-Bomb and others helps with the frustration. My life will be on hold for 2 years. My current waiting time for hormones, 2 years. Wow. I'd quite like to do a video about queer theory and time. And I think there would be a section on trans time in there as well. So it's very interesting. What a waiting. Your growth and change as a creator has mirrored my own growing up. This grumpy Mancunian is currently working in a primary school outside Marseille, hence France. The kids have melted my heart, making me more open to joy and silliness. In turn, the city has opened me up to the value of fear and vulnerability. Watching you grow and change just helped me reflect on my own journey. I only really send letters to my pen pal. If you decide to read this letter on stream, please give a shout out to the Bent Bars project, I think. They link LGBT prisoners with LGBT people on the outside. Oh, Bent Bars, that's great. They always need new volunteers, so if you're LGBT in the UK, please check it out. From one cause model to another with love from, I want to say, Liam? Hard to read. I won't read out your second name, but thank you. Thank you, Liam. Hex Dragon says, is the bracelet going to be featured on the veil? Where did I put that? It's somewhere around. Okay. It's somewhere around here. Put it on my shelf. Oh, there it is. There you go. Thanks for that. Yeah, somebody who came to see. Sorry, let me turn the music down. My voice is as high as it goes, but I've turned the music down a little. Yeah, somebody who came to see the show gave me this, so thank you for that. Yeah, you should be able to hear me a little better now. The voice is as loud as it goes. Well, actually, I can turn it up a little, but I can turn down the music. So we've got a couple more packages, and then I'll talk about what I'm doing tomorrow. Oh, don't worry about the candles behind me. They're fake. Watch. See? Don't worry about it. Okay. Oh, somebody asks, has Ben replied to your debate challenge? No, he has not replied. So this one is from James in Australia. Don't know what this one's going to be. Somebody says throw protein powder in people's eyes. No, it's a waste of protein powder. It's expensive. Let's have a look at what James has sent us from Australia. Is there anything else in there? No. What have we got? I'll resist the temptation to read this in an Australian accent. Samantha Davison, welcome to your first stream. We're just opening letters from the PO Box. Thank you for joining us. Oh, hey, we don't want this music yet, though, do we? This is the ending music. Let's have this. I love this song. It's a little melancholy, but it's good. And Junk says, thanks for making me smile. I've been feeling shitty lately. Watching you smile makes me laugh. I'm glad. I'm having a bit rough lately, too, as well, and it's fun hanging out with you all. Okay. Dear Ollie, my name is James. I'm from Adelaide, South Australia. Oh, but it's baking there in summer. I came across your channel, great handwriting by the way, back when you did a series on Marx, and I've loved everything you've done since. You've been a big part not only in taking my political and philosophical thinking far beyond TED Talks, but also a small but not a significant part in helping me realise I'm non-binary. Cool with whatever pronouns if you're wondering. Awesome. I'm really glad. So as a little thank you, I've included a copy of an essay I've written. I wanted to see where I'd get to if I assumed there was some truth in everything, and this essay is where I got to. In previous drafts, it had looked like a reverse Descartes. That's cool. Hi, Mia. Like a reverse Descartes. I wanted to see where I get to if I assumed there was some truth in everything, and this essay is where I got to. In previous drafts, it had more talk about different schools of philosophy, but it just made it more inaccessible. There are no sources in it, so minus a few philosophy points for me. If people are interested in reading it themselves, it's on my website. Anyway, thanks for everything you've done. Keep fighting the good fight. Much love from James Finley. P.S. Sorry you missed the Sharks in Port Lincoln. That's a deep cut. That's some deep philosophy cut. Well, thanks, James. I look forward to having a look at it. Reverse Descartes. Love it. Tom Gently's anime blush, says Mikhail. Well, thank you for your super chat. That was actually a makeup designed to make Tom look ill. I can show you. I can show you through the magic of OBS. Again, let me find a good frame. Oh yeah, this one was fun. The makeup was designed to make him look ill. Thank you, Samantha Davison. But the green lighting made the red show up just a little bit too much, so it was a bit too much. Yeah, it's cool. It's fun. Oops. There we go. Sorry about that. We got one more. We got one more package from Sarah Gates in Rochester, USA. Let's have a look. Oh, very snazzy. Typed it out. Always appreciate you typing it out. Hey Ollie, I want to thank you for the work you're doing. I've struggled with depression and anxiety most of my life, and I want to tell you how much I appreciate you saying I understand how you feel in the Cosmonaut video. It's so valuable to know you aren't the only one feeling or thinking these things. Lately my depression has been worse. There's a lot of shitty things going on in my life right now, and it would be hard enough to deal with them without depression. I understand how you feel. I enjoy creating art to help deal with my anxiety. I've started painting and doing some mixed media art. That's what the fan art I've sent is. I thought you should have the original. Wow. Thank you. I'm glad that it helped. The streams help me relax when I'm having a bad anxiety day. Same. I'm gonna loop that track, I like it. Again, thank you for all you're doing. The streams are great as well, they help me relax when I'm having it, and the community that's formed around your channel is wonderful and supportive. Yeah, you are. Thank you for being... Thank you for being here, and for helping me to continue to be here. Love, Sarah. Thank you, Sarah. Oh, wow. That is very special. Look at that. That's gorgeous. And a gorgeous frame as well. Thank you, Sarah. I know just where I'm going to put that. Thank you. Those are all the letters. Those are all the letters for tonight. Where did I put that? Those are all letters for tonight, and this is the script for Cosmonaut Part 2, which I'm filming tomorrow. In the studio tomorrow, and I'm going to film it, and it's going to be intense. It's going to be a lot. But it needs to be made. I picked a hell of a time to make it as well. It's in many ways like the worst possible moment in my life at which to make this. But it needs to be made, and it's ready to be made, so... yeah, it's time. It'll be out before the end of July. It won't be what you're expecting. It will not be what you're expecting. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. Like, it's funny. It's a funny script. Like, technically and emotionally, it's going to be a challenge. It would have been a challenge even had I been filming it not 2 weeks out from some horrible news. But yeah, time to go. Time to make it. Kind of excited. A little scared, but it's got to be made. It's going to be good. It's not what you expect. Yeah. In a way, I'm looking forward to it. I can't say anything else without giving it away. So yeah, I guess, how long have we been going? We've been going almost an hour and a half. So I guess, why don't we hang out for another 10, 15 minutes? And then I might go and have some ice cream, I think. Yeah. Thanks, everybody. Four Eyed says, what is your stance on cat girls and cat boys? I'm pro. I'm definitely pro. Definitely pro. What else? Let's have. Yeah, definitely pro cat girls. The cat girl imperative. Harry's messaging me wanting to know what my email is. I'll message you. If you're watching, Harry, I'll message you after the stream. Question. Junk says, when's the next performance you're in? It is... I'll get my diary. The next show for Much Ado About Nothing is on Saturday, at 2 o'clock. I believe it's almost sold out. It's at Keats House in Hampstead in North London. So, yeah, if you're going to be around, I think there's only like 10 tickets left. But after that, on Sunday the 7th, we're performing at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and 7 p.m. in the afternoon, and St Paul's Waldenbury in Hitchin, which is North London. If you go on my Twitter, my Ollie Thorne Twitter, you'll find a link to the website, the Drama Impact website, where you can get tickets if you want to come and see it. So yeah, 6th and 7th, and then we're in Cambridge, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th. Sorry, 11th, 12th, 13th, we're in Cambridge. I'll be missing VidCon, sadly. Although, perhaps, well, I will be missing VidCon at any rate. Yeah, 11th, 12th, 13th will be in Cambridge at the Orchard Tea Rooms in the evening. That's going to be a really special one. The Orchard Tea Rooms, coincidentally, are where Ludwig Wittgenstein and... I nearly said Mia Mulder there, why? And Ludwig Wittgenstein and fucking Bertrand Russell used to knock back pints and do philosophy. To the best of my knowledge, Mia's never had pints with Wittgenstein, given that he died before we were born. But we'll be in Cambridge, and then in Greenwich on the 14th, and Hemel Hempstead on the 19th. We'll be in Stratford-on-Avon on the 21st. And then we're all over the place. So yeah, if you check out my Twitter at Ollie Thorne, O-L-L-Y, Thorne like a rose, then you'll find the dates for that. Bethany D says, "What's your favourite Shakespeare play?" Julius Caesar. Love it, so good. The scene where Mark Antony comes in and he catches them all like having murdered him is just like. Okay, Mia says, "Hey, you don't know my life." Well, when did Wittgenstein die? Because I do know exactly how long your life is, because it's the same as mine. So Wittgenstein died in 1951. We're the same age. People are saying stop outing immortals. We have the same birthday. We're alternate dimensions. Yeah. So yeah, there's going to be all sorts of stuff. I was just about to say something else. I was about to get something off that shelf, but what was it? I don't remember. I have no idea. But yeah, that's where all the performances will be, and it's... Oh yeah, because somebody mentioned roses. Check this out. So you know I always like to have flowers for the stream. I got like a Pride rose. They have like a multicolored rose for sale here in the UK for Pride Month. So I got myself one Pride rose, which is cool. David Sevilla says you should audition for Chicago Shakespeare Theatre somehow. That would be fun. Melvin Soa says I just subbed to your Patreon. Hey, thanks very much. Do you have any particular opinion on John Oliver? I was asking because of the... not really. Not a strong one. I don't watch Last Week Tonight all that much. Junk says, is there a Philosophy Tube Discord? Yeah, there is. I'll tell you what, I'll put a link... I can't reveal who, but somebody is telling me for technical reasons I need to plug the Discord more. So after this stream, I will put a link in the description, like a 24-hour link to invite people to the Discord. In fact, I'll tell you what, I'll get that ready now so I don't forget. There is a Philosophy Tube Discord, and I can invite people to it. But yeah, yes, that's going to be fun. The second Cosmonaut video, I can't reveal too much about it without revealing the thing. But it's not going to be similar in tone. It's going to be quite different. Somebody says, can you make a video about climate change and the fact that if we don't do something soon, we're all going to die? Yeah, I'm making notes towards a video on climate grief. I'm not quite sure what form it will take, but yeah, I think there's definitely going to be a video on climate something. I've got a lot of got a book just arrived from somebody sent me a book from my Amazon wishlist recently, which I'm very grateful for. So, in fact, it was from, I have the note here, from Sarah Williams. So thank you, Sarah. Yeah, that's cool. It's going to be quite different. I've never seen anyone do a video on climate quite this way, so I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, it's gonna be cool. Looking forward to that video on climate, but first, gotta get over the hill of Cosmonaut 2. Somebody says, how many videos are percolating at a time? Usually sort of 1 or 2. The script for Cosmonaut 2 has been written for a while. I've just kind of been building up to it and picking the right moment to do it for reasons that you'll see. I have had to edit it a little in light of recent events, but yeah, it's going to be interesting. Ollie, are you an elder god? Yes or no? Yes. People keep sending me pictures of me in old museums. They're like, this is a portrait of you from like several hundred years ago. I'm like, I know. Yes, I'm a Wallachian count. I've lived for many thousands of years. So yeah. I tell you what. Let's hang out for about another 5 minutes. I'll start putting on the chill music we like to end on, and I'll turn it up just a little bit, and I'll turn this off so we can relax a little more. So, what a nice stream. This was nice. Yeah, nice to chill. Hannah, your team says, oh no, sorry, Spencer says, would you ever do a video on some philosophy you've done? Basically, they all are now. It's always kind of half me, it's always mixed in. But yeah. Somebody says, what games do you play? At the moment, I'm working through Spider-Man on PS4, just to unwind. Good for shutting the old brain off. It's good. Leela says, I'm doing alright in the hospital. I'm glad, Leela. I'm glad. Nice. Speedy recovery from everyone here. And Popato Chisps says nothing, but just donates 99p. Thank you. How do you select your books and how do you know which sources are good, says Sophie the Bookworm. I don't know, sometimes I read them and they aren't any good. I have to sort of suck it and see. But sometimes you can get like a good feel for it. Or I could take recommendations from people I trust. Mango Blaze says, you name this account Philosophy Tube Live and not Philosophy Tube. Yes, I wanted to call it Philosophy Tube, but if you're naming your YouTube channel, pro tip that I learned from Tom Scar, pro tip, name your YouTube channel something that people can spell if you say it out loud. It's not immediately obvious how to spell Philosophy Tube, but you can spell Philosophy Tube Live. So, pro YouTube tips with Ollie. Jackie Z says, thanks for all you do and happy Pride. Thank you. Logan Myers says, favourite genre of fiction? Whatever The Last Man is. Which I guess is like early, very, very, very early sci-fi. Yeah, The Last Man is my favourite novel. It's amazing. I also do enjoy what do I enjoy? There's another book that I really like. Nabokov's book Ardor. I do enjoy. I have a complicated relationship with it because I came by the story in an unpleasant way, but it is, yeah, it means a lot to me, that book. It means a lot, not all of it good. But I can't talk about that without getting too personal. Smiling Stone says, hello Ollie, I just discovered Philosophy Tube today. It's been hard to focus on my tasks at work since. Thank you for all you do. I'm excited to watch more of it. Well, welcome Smiling Stone. Welcome along to the little community. What a place to jump in with a live stream as well. Great to have you here. Welcome along. Subscribe and smash that bell. It's good to have you around. So I will put on the music that we like to end on, which is Zoe Blade, Walking in the Rain. I didn't say Nabokov was my favourite author. I said he was my favourite Russian author, which he is. My favourite author is still Mary Shelley. So, Sarah says, have you considered doing a video about healthcare? I have. It's called Postmodernism and Healthcare. Yeah. Yeah, welcome along, Smiling Stone. Good to have you here. You're my favourite man named Ollie. I'm not even my favourite man named Ollie. My cousin's also called Ollie. Thank you, Morgan Sill, for that. Yeah, this was a fun stream. It was good. Needed, I think. Yeah, tomorrow's going to be pretty hellish. But then in the evening, I'm going to see a friend, which is also kind of going to be sad, but whatever. Interesting, anyway. See a friend I haven't seen in a while. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. What do you think of the Democratic candidates in the American election? I honestly haven't had all that much time to have a look. Somebody says, can you do a video about being an ally? I feel like the best video about being an ally is not making one. Thank you to Taylor Buck for your super chat. I have already addressed that question earlier on in the stream and in the video. So, yeah. But thanks for your super chat anyway. Appreciate it. Also, cool name. Do you have a Goodreads? No. I've heard people keep asking that, but it seems like just another thing. But yeah. Thank you, Tessie, for that super chat. And okay, I think. Hey, and Quasarman just became a patron of Philosophy Tube. Thanks. Somebody says, is the Cosmonaut in Cosmonaut Part 2? I mean, I am in the show, so he's always in it. Tessie, thank you very much for your super chat again. And I think it's time for some ice cream and a rest. So thank you everyone for coming out. It's been lovely. And I will wish you all a pleasant evening and a pleasant recovery to the people in hospital and a pleasant time to all the people who are sad. And take it easy.